Hey, I'm April.
I'm Destiny.
And welcome to another episode of The Craft. Today we're filming in our home base where all the magic happens. And on today's episode, we spoke with some soul-touching singers.
And our singers are going to do a cover of Best Part. And
Favorite song.
Favorite song? And our conversation topic for the day has to deal with relationships. What are the new societal norms for relationships? Unconventional relationships?
Single and mingling.
Always ready to mingle?
Right.
Or monogamy? What is important to us today?
So we're not going to talk anymore. Let's get into the craft.
Ready?
Ready.
Oh wait, yeah.
Hi, I'm Gabe the Babe.
Oh wait, yeah.
You're watching The Craft.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Catherine.
Oh wait, yeah.
I'm on my way to check out The Craft. This is going to be so dope, and you should definitely come along and see what it's about. Let's go check it out.
Hi, my name's Tony C. And for The Craft, stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? This is Rob Nell.
Oh wait, yeah.
Unfortunately, I will not be at the actual discussion at the craft due to a gig, but I know you guys are going to do well.
I've been in choir since 5th grade. I was in choir from 5th grade all the way through 12th grade. And then I used to sing like in churches and stuff when I was younger than that.
Oh wait, yeah.
I always sung, but that was never really my thing. I just did it because I could do it. It was like, you got a gift, you better use it.
Makeup artist, wedding singer, 2 checks.
Look at you.
Same day.
I don't like being in front. Like, I do makeup because I like being behind the scenes.
It's all right, 2 checks, same day.
She like, do it.
I mean, boom.
Bob your heads if you're rocking with the craft. Discussing serious topics, the stuff that make you laugh. Informational and necessary, we do it all. Writing our own stories, cause they always drop the ball. Exemplified talents, we control the way we look. This ain't a clickbait site, man, it's off the hook. So check it, this ain't the drama field, all about a dollar bill. This is black excellence, something that you gotta feel. Bob your heads if you're rocking with the craft. Bob your heads if you're rocking with the craft. Grab a seat, go ahead, pull up a chair. Oh yeah, it's the craft.
We're here on The Craft and we have some amazing singers and we even have a huge audience. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. We're so glad to have you. This question is for the singers. Singers, kind of tell me, how many years have you guys been singing? Anybody? So,
Yes.
I think I remember first singing when I was about 5.
Okay.
I remember being at a church. My mom was a preacher. you know, when you go to some of the old Pentecostal churches, like everybody becomes a preacher, you know. And I remember singing a song that I don't even know if it's a real song, and I've never heard it anywhere else. But yeah, I was about 5.
Okay.
Been singing ever since.
Grew up singing.
Yes.
Okay. What about you?
Same kind of story. I come from a religious family and everybody sings in it, so when I was born, it's kind of expected. So it kind of just
Been singing ever since.
been singing ever since.
Came out the womb singing.
Pretty much.
Anybody else?
Same here. I've been singing ever since I can remember. Pretty much the same story. I came from a somewhat religious background, so you know, they always throw the kids in the church programs. And if you just so happen to know how to sing, guess what you gotta do?
You're in
Yeah,
programs. Right. Okay, so I'm seeing a common thread. So all of you are self-taught, or have you taken vocal lessons? Do you just practice your craft in your personal home? Do you work with a coach?
I know I had a vocal coach when I was 16, and then when I went to college for music, I had vocal lessons there as well.
Okay. Did you do theater or anything?
Yeah, I did theater and show choir.
Okay.
What about you guys over here? You're pretty quiet.
I mean, it's pretty congruent with their story. I've been singing for a long time. I was probably about maybe 5 or something that I remember.
So are you self-taught? Take vocal
Family.
lessons? Family.
Church.
Oh yes.
The roots.
Yeah.
And so everybody definitely has a journey. You know, your journey is your story that you want to tell to everyone. You know, tell us how you got here, how you started. So what do what is you guys' journey, and what do you see your career going in music?
You want a professional career? Is it just something you do
For fun?
as a hobby, to worship, whatever it may be?
My journey basically has been mostly church centered. I've never really done anything outside of church or family functions or things like that. I don't really see a career in singing. It's not that I would say I've never really desired a career. In singing. Because for me it's mostly just been for church.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I mean, it's your journey. That's what
Your
makes you
story.
unique.
Yeah. It's your gift.
Well, I don't necessarily see a career in singing for me either. It is something that I love to do. I'm passionate about it, but it's more so of a hobby to me. It's not one of those things where just because you think, well, other people may think you're good at it, or it's something that you excel at, that it's like what you should do. Because a lot of times that's what happens a lot in life. People, they notice something about you, they're like, oh, you're really good at that. You should do it for a living.
Right.
You should
pursue that.
Yeah. That's not necessarily the case, but for the people that, are so passionate about it that that's all they can, eat, sleep, think about, like, I say go for it.
So is there anybody here that sees themselves doing this for a living?
Yes, that would be me.
Okay.
I'm the person that eats, sleeps, and thinks about
Right.
it all day. Yeah, and I kind of do it professionally now. I'm a background singer, so I thank God that He opened up the doors for where I can get paid to do it now. So I'm definitely on the right track.
Okay.
So it's definitely a career choice for me.
Perfect.
Any tips for anyone who wants to start singing? April, she is gonna
I think I can
take a
sing
shot
at
at
heart,
it at some point.
Shower singer.
Shower singer, yes. I'm a car jammer, have personal concerts, y'all. But any tips that you want to give to anybody who's like, okay, maybe I can hold it to them a little bit? Maybe any tips? Practice.
Don't drink cold water before you sing.
Okay, that's a tip. Hey, how you know that?
In all seriousness, don't drink cold water before you sing. Nothing cold before you sing. Preferably something room temperature or warm.
Okay.
That's a good tip. I use it a lot.
You use that tip a lot?
Yes. If you're just getting started, a vocal coach is, I won't say necessary, but it is a very good option, especially if you don't really know the ins and outs of your voice yet.
Right.
Like I said, I had one when I was 16, and it helped tremendously. And then I had vocal lessons in college, and it helped a whole lot. I mean, it helps you to know controlling your breathing, being comfortable in your range, knowing where you should and should not go.
Yeah.
So that's a very good stepping stone into getting to where you see yourself going.
Anybody else? So you can't come to the craft without showing us your craft. So
No,
we asked
not at
our
all.
singers to perform a song for us. So let's take a look and see how that sounds.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know, babe, when you hold me and kiss me slowly, it's the sweetest thing. And it don't change
When we wake up and then we make love, it makes me feel so nice. You're the water when I'm stuck in the desert. You're the Tylenol I take when my head hurts. You're the sunshine of my life. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. Where you go, I follow. No matter how far. If life is a movie, then you're the best part. You're the best part. You're the best part. If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Oh, if you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Love me, won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Love me, won't you? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Say something. If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't you? Love me, won't you?
So, oh my gosh, that was amazing.
It was really good.
Like, no, it's okay. Our singers killed that cover. It was amazing. So we all know that Best Part is about giving all of you to your special someone. So my question, are any of you in a relationship? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm in
Yes.
a relationship.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Got three
You
takers.
got 3 takers.
Pass.
And Tony, this question is for you. What is your definition of a relationship?
Goodness. Nowadays, relationships aren't relationships. They're more like relationships.
That's deep.
good.
These days, to answer the question, my definition of relationship is exactly built in the word. You guys relate. I guess you break it down, it's a ship. Okay, so we're in this thing together. And then knowing exactly who each other are. First, you gotta know yourself.
Yep.
You know yourself, and then you're trying to get to know somebody else, and you're trying to get them to know you. And a lot of times we have a tendency to skip over those important parts when it comes to relating to each other in ways that are deeper than just what do we have in common. Favorite color, born in the same month, zodiac signs,
Exactly.
you know, stuff like that. But honestly, I'm not sure there is a definition for a relationship. And I have to say that based on my experiences. I mean, it is so difficult to define it now. We all have our own ideas. And then you have the fact that with relationships in this day and time being relationships, or it's so much built off of lust, it's so many feelings to start with, and you don't really take the time to really get to know anybody. Getting to know somebody beyond the basics.
Yeah.
Can I see myself past the person that I met, past that representative? Once I get to know that person who's you know, that child, and then know them as an adolescent and adult, you know, because you have to find out what makes this person who they are right now.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
You know, and if you don't know past, and I think somebody said that with dates, you know, it's the time to take data. Okay. You know, and you don't want to make it seem like you're putting somebody through some type of test or some type of grind. You don't want to, you know, ask them 100 questions every time you get together. But at the same time, I think it's very important because today's relationships are so selfish. I mean, you forget sacrifice. You forget, you know, that you're no longer two but one. You forget the basics of how to sacrifice without being manipulative. I sacrificed so I could say that I did this for you.
Right.
You said
And
Come on now, you better
you know,
preach.
and a lot of it just comes from the fact that, you know, we haven't seen good examples.
I mean, to kind of interject on what you were saying, because in my opinion, what you're describing isn't necessarily a relationship. What you're describing is something deeper than a relationship. You're describing a commitment. You're describing a marriage, because it's easy to get in relationships, and you were right. You know, a lot of our relationships today, they're built off of lust. They're built off of, and it doesn't even have to be lust for the other person. It could be lust for what they have, lust for what they can do for you. Because a lot of people, their personal relationships are often business moves. People don't fall in love anymore. Well, they still do, but it's not something that's common. Love is something that's rare now. And for me, my definition of relationships used to be one thing. To me, it used to be like, oh yeah, the definition of a relationship is having, you know, a ride or die person, and you know, all these cliche things, because you look at the stuff that's going on around you and you're like, yeah, I want that. I need, you know, somebody to be like this for me. Yeah, relationship goals.
It's definitely changed.
My definition of a relationship right now is a walk. It's a journey, because a lot comes with these relationships. Sacrificing. You don't realize how much you're willing to sacrifice when you're in a real relationship. You don't realize how much you give, how much you'll take. So for me, I guess your definition of a relationship would have to be determined by where you are in life. But, yeah.
In my opinion, a relationship is simple. It's just a bond that you have with another person or an individual. It could be a pet. You're gonna have some type of bond with that person, place, or thing. You can have a relationship with a place, like your hometown. You can be intimate with it because that's where you're from, so you love it. You love that place because that's how you came up. That's where you came up. So when you get to talking about relationships from an intimate standpoint, when you're talking about the opposite sex or an individual that you're in a relationship with, where we're trying to build together, then I think that gets different than a relationship you can have with a child. Because when you have a child, your relationship is going to be very, very detail oriented, because like you're bringing that kid up and you want that kid to know how to live in this world. It's a cold place, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have a relationship with someone else, it's an expectation. I typically break it down as having a reason to love somebody conditionally. That's the type of relationship I think that you guys are speaking of. Relationship with someone that we're together with. An unconditional love type relationship is one you would have with a kid, parents, someone who, truthfully, the people you love the most, you don't fuck them. You don't have sex with them. Those are the people that you love unconditionally. You don't have anything. They don't have to do anything for you. They're just, you love them because. Now, people that you have to get something from, that you're expecting something back from, that shit's based on conditions. And under those circumstances, you can run out of that shit. You can run out of that type of love, because it's based on conditions. Any love based on conditions, it won't necessarily last, or it can last, but it has a better chance of not lasting, because when shit runs out, you run out.
There has to be something deeper holding you there.
True. Yes, that's true. You know, I think that all of us can really speak on the fact that we've been in relationships before, whatever the case may be. We've all been with somebody who we were claiming at some point. And I can venture to say that most of us are not with the first person we call ourselves being in a relationship with. You know, the fact is, it's like a filling out process. Really, you learning somebody, like you were speaking about. When you get with someone, you don't even know yourself yet, so you got to figure out, what do I like? And what do I place emphasis on? What's more important than other shit? Because like initially, I can't speak for everyone, but me as a man or as a person that I am, when I initially started wanting to be in the courtship process, I had things that attracted me to an individual. So if I like how a girl look. She got my attention. I'm gonna try and speak to her so I get to know her better. You know what I'm saying? With intentions of going someplace in particular. You know what I'm saying? And you wasn't trying. I ain't never looked at a girl. I ain't never looked at a girl and said, like initially, from actually seeing them for the first time, damn, I want to marry her, or damn, I want to be in a relationship with her. I might say, damn, I want to go there.
I think it does though.
You know?
I think it happens.
It happens.
That's real.
It
It's
hasn't
very
happened
rare,
to
but
me.
I feel like it happens.
Is it rare? I feel like as a society, especially in our generation, we've gotten to the place where it's like, oh, love doesn't exist, real relationship doesn't, da da da. But we see people that we're connected with, you and your husband. It's happening. But going back to it, in society, the norms that have become normal. So we've seen cheating scandals. We've seen people in open relationships, which live your life the way you want to live it. But that's what we're constantly seeing. So are those norms?
That's been happening
Right,
from
exactly.
the beginning of time.
Exactly.
But it's just we have more access to it.
Yes.
My thing about when it concerns relationships, I think relationships, you have to be able to metamorph.
Okay.
Because now, it's not the same thing I required when I was 16.
Yes.
It's not the same thing that I'm going to require when I'm 45.
Exactly.
So you're going to have to be able, even if I got married at 21, my partner has to be able to grow with me. Because my needs are going to change as well as theirs. Our finances, you know, like we have to have money in the bank. We get ready to retire, babe. I got to have, you know what I'm saying, long money. This stuff we did, Burger King ain't going to get it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's things that we have to build towards, but not only that, there's things that we missed out, like you said, like being a child and not having things that we needed to process then. Maybe it was, you know, some type of abuse or there's things that we carry over into our adulthood. And because of that, the person that is with us has to be able to discern those things. They have to be able to move accordingly if they want to continue to invest into that relationship. Because if they don't see value in that relationship, then they're going to have to decide if they're going to stay in that relationship or transition into something different. And what may work for you guys at 21 may not work at 31. And that's why it seems like divorce rate is high and different things like that. And this generation is so microwaved. Everything is so easily accessed. So because of that, you don't have to put up it now. And for women, we got it hard. It's hard out here for a good woman. Like it really is. Because guys don't have to work like they used to. The ratio for women to it's real talk. Guys don't have to work as hard as they used to because they can choose. They're not gonna. It's the work ethic of a man is not the same when it comes down to pursuit. It's not the same. Okay. I feel like it's not the same. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about. Okay. I'm not talking about financially. So the pursuit is not the same because there's so much access. So you got Bonquisha over here saying, "I don't want nothing. Right. Let's go." And you got this other woman that have values and standards, and she's like, well, let's get to know each other. That's work. And so it's like, okay, we can get to know each other, but you still got Bonquisha over here while you get to know me. But that's polluted. To me, that's polluted. You cannot purely gather your connection with someone, still connected to someone else, because that's too much. That's too much in your space. This is your temple. You know what I'm saying? So if you got all of this stuff attached and connected to you, you cannot build on what you have, having all these different people attached to you. So
true. But that's what a sacrifice.
I think.
And if I love somebody, I know, okay, it's me and you. So everything else, or even everything else and everybody else that I feel like is even a threat to the kingdom, I remove from that whole kingdom. So that's. I mean, even like social media, all that type of thing, which is true because you have so many opportunities.
Yes. And temptations.
Right. But if you know that, if I know, hey, look, man, I just can't help but look. I know I have to limit myself. Mm-hmm. It's like a drug. If I'm addicted to heroin, I know I can't be around that.
Exactly.
So why would I even, if I know I'm trying to get right as in heal, or if I know I'm in love with this woman, that's the key. I know I'm in love. Mm-hmm. So I know there's some things like y'all talked about. It's all about sacrifice. I know what's willing. And if I'm in love with somebody, that's not even, to me, that's not a sacrifice, because to sacrifice something means I'm giving away something that I like, or it's it's a priority over this person. It's easy, so it's not really a sacrifice to me. So, like you said, yeah, it's easy to go for some people. It's easy to go to Bonquisha because she's easily available.
Yeah.
But if you have someone that's meeting your standards, and if you truly, genuinely love them, because like I said, folks love the word. It's a title. It's more of a title than actually like love.
They love the ideal of being in love.
Right.
They like labels.
Right.
People love labels now.
Everything is so social media heavy, so it's like I have relationship goals, so all this hashtag relationship goals is so that the first guy that you, not the first guy, but or woman that you get in a relationship with, you ready to post them, you ready to express that, because that's the trending
I
thing
want
to
show
do.
people that I
Yeah.
love.
Well, image.
Yes.
Right.
So do you
But
feel now?
it's taken away from that. It's taken away the authenticity of expressing love, because so many people do it. People have kids just so they can dress them up and post them on social media to go viral. Like that's the thing to do. Like it's real out there with that stuff. So I believe.
So do you feel social media is putting more pressure on relationships nowadays? Then it's not as innocent as it used to be. Like you said, you can for artists or for anyone, you can be scrolling, you post a nice pic, you might be in love with your boyfriend, in love with your girlfriend, but you might be having a bad day. Hey baby girl, how you doing? Let me take you out. Are you going to sway that way because it's so easily accessed, or so what do you think about social media? Do you think it has changed over the years from what it was originally? You just post something, or you promote your business, you promote who you are.
He said something, well, both of them said something about getting to know yourself.
Right.
And it ties into what he said, because if you really know yourself and you know your temptations, and so it's harder for you to be persuaded. Or if you don't know yourself and you get out there into tampering with that kind of stuff, it can pull you. And I think social media can affect you, but it's all about where your mental is. Are you strong enough? And you know what your weaknesses are. So you have to be able to manage yourself. But if you don't even know who you are, you might be an eligible bachelor or a bachelorette eligible. I mean, like, got everything on point, but you don't really know either your worth, your value, who you are, really what you want for your next 5 years, or you may not really know that. And because of that, you can get out there and get pulled into all these different ways, and it has nothing to do with your purpose. It has nothing to do with who's going to help you get to your next level, and who's really been called to be your soulmate or connected to you, I think.
So do you do you think couples should do away with social media? You constantly are always fighting about social media. Like, that's like, you like her pics, you comment on her pics. So
I think that people should exercise self-control.
Yes.
Listen, what is social media really? It provides you with an avenue to speak to people that you don't get to speak to on a consistent basis.
And entertainment.
If I am fully committed or trying to commit to someone that I consider my significant other, what do you do when you do a situation like that? You typically don't go to the club as much.
Yes.
Right? So you don't got to go on social media as much.
Right.
You don't got to post that half-naked pic. You ain't got to respond to the inbox.
Yes.
Hell. That's all you got to do.
Honestly, relating to what they were both saying, to me, I feel like it's a matter of perception versus reality.
Yes.
Yeah. People these days are so out of touch with what reality is. You have reality TV. Like, everything is reality this, reality there. And people are taking this stuff seriously because they see the word reality and they think, wow, that's what that really is. Yeah. When it could be just like how we're all sitting here now. You know what I'm saying? It's something scripted. Somebody's directing you, telling you what it is.
What do you speak about? That representative?
Yeah.
That's who's on social media.
No, somebody said, she said that.
Yeah, like it's just they don't have any type of perception of what reality is. So people see, it's entertainment, and people see this stuff, and the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And nothing ever clicks up here that like, my life is not going like this, and I want to know why. They never stop to be like, well, I mean, God, their relationship is always really, really good. And they're always posting this.
Yeah,
this person always has money. Yeah. They're always doing this. They always doing that. But they never think about what's going on in real life.
You see the highlights.
Yeah.
Right.
Post the struggle too.
And,
Right.
and
The
they
trailer.
don't get it.
The trailer.
Yeah, like,
They don't get it. They think it's something, you know, completely different from what it is, and it's like, no, this person is living their life just like you.
But what it is, what it amounts to, really, everybody wants attention, man. Everybody's on social media. What you do, everything you post is for freaking like. Like everybody want to be damn like.
Well, mine is for
Well, and a lot of that, I think a lot of that
I
also
want my stuff on
comes
check.
from.
Like, I want my money.
I think a lot of that comes from just normal childhood stuff. You know, we did anything to get in front of a camera when cameras wasn't really around when we were smaller.
I did.
You know,
For attention.
For attention. You know, kids will come into the midst of a conversation of grown folks. We weren't supposed to be.
I want to be
that.
seen.
You know what I'm saying? What you want attention of. Sometimes people do stuff. They'll create a negative situation to get attention. Yeah, I mean, because negative energy fuels things as well.
Just smell it
They do it. Whatever you get attention from, that's what you're going to continue to do if you want those likes.
And again, that goes back to like we saying, reality TV. You got people who started out pure, started out with a beautiful goal of what we started talking about with the singers. Simply the simplest thing. I simply want to sing. Okay, all these other doors start opening, and now, you know, you start contaminating that pure thing that you began with, that simple thing that you had.
It's a little bit hip hop.
But I think with the question, somebody mentioned that it's you know, whenever you get married or if you're in a relationship, things like that, and specifically when you get married, to me it's a rebirth, because you're not two anymore, you're one. So now I think that there's naturally phases with each individual. You're your own person, and you said I do to somebody else who is their own person.
Yes.
Right.
So
Absolutely right.
now my individual identity, your individual identity has to come together for collective identity.
Yes.
Who are we together? And there's usually some resistance to become whatever this person is, what they're going through, whatever their phase is. So, like we mentioned with social media, I think that there should be a phase that the couple should agree to say, hey, 6 months, no social media. Let's build us. Let's grow. Okay?
Yes.
If it ain't nothing but 3 days, a week, or whatever, something, you know, or every night at dinner time, phones don't come to the table, whatever.
Create some sense of
discipline. So, what challenges? We got 2 married people over here. Y'all married?
I'm not married.
This relationship, married, right? Okay, so what challenges for my single people?
We've been married, so
okay,
we know we got
okay.
it.
So, what challenges do you face, or do you see people facing, getting into relationships or staying in relationships? When you first got married, what challenges have you faced? Because like we've all been saying, we're 2 people.
The biggest challenge is always going to be getting on the same page.
Okay.
Everybody has to be on the same freaking page. If you don't have the same game plan, the same mentality, the same focus, the same drive, you ain't going 2 different damn directions, ain't gonna work.
Right.
So
but a lot of times, like my brother said here,
You want to get on the same page. Getting on the same page, a lot of times you have to be adaptable, because you will get on the same page verbally. You'll agree.
Yes.
Verbally, we agree in the metamorphosis. We agree that we're gonna do this, but because of what you're influenced by, what I'm influenced by, what I see, if I got career goals, if you're a businesswoman or if you're a businessman, whatever your career goals, different things. I mean, again, what we're exposed to influences our decision. It's like, okay, well, what we agreed to, I'm feeling this a little bit more. How do I get that over to my spouse?
See, I think that's that filling out process we were speaking about too, because now you got to have some understanding. And if you're not on the same page, like we were speaking about, you guys don't fit the type of criteria that I want to do this and you want to do that, we're not compatible. So it's not going to work. So we can be physically attracted to each other, we can lust for each other, whatever the hell, but it's not going to work. So don't even try it. And then you're talking about committing.
But what happens when you're 5, 10 years into your marriage and that comes up? Because it does.
But it doesn't work. What happens is people get divorced.
Well, right, but what we're trying, in relationships, we're trying to prevent that from happening, because there are people that's been together longer than we are, older than we, are. Like, I just celebrated someone's 75th. How you married 75 years? How old are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that happen? And it happens, but it's the compromise.
You know, there's never going to be a 50-50 split. It doesn't matter how hard or how much there's never going to be a 50-50 split in relationships. And it has to be times where, okay, babe, I've been selfless about 6 months. It's my time now to be a little bit selfish. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, sometimes if that's not yielded, then we bully our way in. And that's when the conflict starts.
I think
facts.
I think the true measure of how much you love someone is how much of their shit you're willing to put up with. I really do.
Well,
believe
if you're
that.
in a, because her question was really related from a marriage standpoint, because that divorce kit has to be the furthest thing to the back when it comes down to marriage.
Like you said though,
it's never
going to be 50-50, right?
Right.
So it's going to be something that you're going to have to compromise on, or something you're going to have to sacrifice for. So if this guy is on a joystick all day, you don't like him on a joystick, but he ain't cheating. So all right, well, fuck it. I mean, I can live with him being on the game for 3 hours. And
Definitely choose your battles.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's gonna be, you don't like that though. But you don't.
That's where creativity has to come in, because as a woman, there's something that's gonna trump that remote control. Understand? There's something that you got with it. That's gonna trump that remote.
What gonna trump the remote?
I'm trying to tell you. Use your imagination. That's the creativity.
If 2K came out, if that 2K came out, hell,
I'm gonna let you have that. I ain't even gonna look.
Get this on myself.
Don't even try it. Sis, don't hurt your feelings. Don't hurt yourself.
Give me a couple weeks.
The first, no, give him that. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. We ain't talking about 2 weeks though. We talking about 2 months. We talking about 6 months.
You don't put that
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, you can figure it out some days. It's some stuff that's gonna trump that.
He got another game he gonna want to play for.
Okay. In the filling out process that we've been talking about, in the filling out process that we have been going around,
ain't gonna hold you back.
No.
Is that something that you gotta see and figure out? So who is that on? Is it on the girl to be like, okay, I've been with this dude. Yes, people put their best foot forward, but at some point you say, okay, so what have you been doing today? Playing 2K. What have you been doing this week? Playing 2K. Is that something that you figure out in the filling out process?
Okay, first of all, is he taking care of his responsibilities?
This is where we're
If he's not taking care of his responsibilities, then 2K is a problem.
Yeah,
but if the bills is they don't pay,
he's talking about he ain't out. Everything's good.
And
he's just out in the out here in the street.
We're not saying be with a bum.
I can't build with a bum.
The thing that happens is that it don't matter if it's a game, if it's sports, if it's just a TV, whatever. A woman feel like she get more, you getting more attention somewhere else. It don't even matter.
It's a problem, and that's a problem with us.
Look, it's like, wait a minute, you gotta. I wish you would show me the same passion you showing this game right now, or this boxing match, or this 3-pointer Steph Curry shoot. Cause we hop up and we yelling and shouting, making all kinds of noise. To me, it kind of gives off an aggression.
Yes.
Maybe they like
it. Work both ways though.
Women are attention whores.
Work both ways. Y'all don't want to.
That's why you have to get to a point with your woman, like, hype your woman up. And I know men love compliments as well, but like, and women, we done started getting bold these days. We'll tell a man like, look, man, you said fine. You know what I'm saying? You're that guy.
The tides have turned.
Listen, boost your woman up. Like, there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with hyping your woman up. The same way you hype up Steph Curry in the game, hype your woman up the same way.
I know one thing. I have experienced hyping women up.
I'm
gonna tell you what happens. I'm gonna tell you what happens when you hype these women up. Now, one or two things. Either they're gonna start taking those compliments for granted.
Come on, man.
Or
I can say do it all the time.
I'm just saying. Or they're gonna take that shit to heart and start advertising what you hyping up.
Exactly.
Because they might think that.
That's not a woman, that's a girl.
That's what I say. I don't know about all
it's a level of maturity. There's a line. You gotta be a grown.
And the thing about maturity, how that works, it doesn't take. Okay, when 21 mature, no, it don't work.
No, absolutely.
So like, it's not like
51 mature.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting when you get with this woman. Just like y'all don't know if this dude is bum or not. You know, you gotta be with him, experience him for a while to see what's gonna happen, what's gonna shake. It's a feeling out.
So I have a question, right? Okay. Even though y'all ain't answering the questions, but it's a group discussion. I have a question. Okay. Is it just me, or people do not have a sense of like courtship anymore. Like we just keep talking about relationships, being together, being. What happened to courtship? What happened to dating?
Just
like what?
Be patient.
I got it.
Okay.
Go.
You can't. You gotta just say.
We don't need it.
You know.
What's the point? It is no longer a necessity because y'all have control.
Don't require it. People don't
All of
require
it.
it.
Women, right?
Well, women
Don't
do.
have control.
We used
So,
to.
Right.
I do.
So,
I mean,
if,
I do too.
If I'm with somebody, they still do.
They still have.
Well, tell us how.
Y'all have control.
We need to know because some of us don't know.
Well, guess what? I ain't never met
Yeah,
a woman.
yeah.
I have never met a woman.
dating.
I've never met a woman. I don't give a damn. Ugly, big. She ain't gonna never have trouble getting no thing. Never. So y'all the ones that make these choices. So when a woman end up with a bump, this is how I feel about it. You deserve what the fuck you got. You got choices. You talk about choices. You want to talk about choices?
I do.
Women got more choices than damn man ever had. Look, I know I ain't ugly. 3 people tried to holler at me this year. How about you? You go to Walmart and there's 5 niggas trying to holler at you before you make it through the parking lot. And I know I ain't ugly. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all got way more choices. So don't come at me crazy.
Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, to show interest and to invest in are 2 different things. What I'm saying as far as our options are concerned is you may show interest, but if we don't buck fast enough, you on to the next because you have more options now. You get what I'm saying?
I understand that. But don't get mad at dude bucking.
I'm not mad. But the courtship, like he said, wait, hold on. The courtship, like he said, the process has changed because and you said we control that. But the problem is the way we used to control it, it worked for us and for our benefit. That no longer works for the new age society.
Let me ask you a question.
It doesn't.
Can I ask you a question?
Or we gonna be sitting? I'm
I'm
eligible.
gonna give you a scenario, right?
Because I got
say I approach you and I'm interested, right? Now you have this process in which you decide whether or not we're going to buck. When are you going to buck? And all that type of shit. Now I ain't gonna pressure you to buck. You know what I'm saying? Hell, in my mind, I can say, well, I'll give 6 months, folks, you buck. But don't get damn mad at me if somebody else, if Bubba Queasy want to buck now. No. I can still, we're dating.
You see, we're going to
But see, I won't know about Bunquisha. See, the difference is if you're pursuing me, there's no question about it. I'm going to know that I have your undivided attention at that time.
Okay.
When I know about Bunquisha is because you done got reckless. Hold on. You done got reckless. If I know about, if we're not together and we're just in the dating, getting to know each other process, that means I'm not calling you all the time. I'm not at your house all the time. I'm not. We have boundaries still. You hadn't opened up completely to each other. So if you're dealing with Bunquisha, I shouldn't be able to know that.
Hell, Bunquisha don't come around any damn time she wants to. How you gonna stop Bunquisha?
But see, look.
This is what I'm saying.
No, you just said it's a question.
Hold on.
Okay,
hold on. Yeah, go. Yes, I want to hear.
You're dealing with Bunquisha and you're dealing with her for 2 different reasons.
Exactly.
You're seeing Bunquisha for the
That's her
attention
point.
of the smashing.
Exactly.
Yes.
You see, she's not.
Bunquisha serves a purpose.
But that's all you want. And that's fine.
So leave her alone.
No.
That's what he wants. He wants her.
No.
You don't value.
No.
You
First of
don't
all,
value what you really want
no,
enough
come on.
to sit your questions aside and say, okay.
Did I miss something here? I think you guys missed something.
Everybody's on the same page.
Get on the same damn page. No hell. This is what I'm talking about.
Let's hear.
This is what just happened. I just said I meet you. Walmart, wherever the hell the case may be. I'm pretty damn sure we're not goddamn an item once I meet you that day and you give me the number.
Right.
Now, I could already be folding up Bunquisha.
I already know you.
I could been folding up Bunquisha for 6 months.
Yes.
But I know Bunquisha ain't marriage material.
Okay.
So when you
Now, when I approach you, or when I quit hug, maybe when you start bucking.
See what I'm saying?
That should have to be
What you mean, but why?
That should be the deal. That should not be required.
No, y'all.
That should not be required.
No.
From a man and woman perspective. From a woman's perspective.
Hold on.
This is what y'all asking me.
Order in the court.
If you're a man, let's say you are a single man, and let's say you chose the route of being celibate, right? but
And I said
you're courting
Right.
a woman.
Yeah.
And this woman, because let's just be real, men can do things all day long, but if a woman does it, it's an issue.
Women do those things.
She turns into Bonquisha.
Women
Exactly.
do those
She
things
turns-
too. It's a
So
reason.
how do you
Bonquisha's
feel
a woman.
about pause? How do you feel about a woman that you're taking interest in and you're starting to invest your time in? You really want to get to know her, but all the while she like, well, I mean, he ain't slaying, you know what I'm saying?
And
So,
Ray is over here.
let me call
Ray.
Let me call Ray. Let me call Ray, and Ray slinging a pipe or whatever. And you over here like,
And,
boy, I
and
just
then
can't
you done
wait
start
for the
paying
day.
for buying roses and sending
that's
roses.
great.
But all along, she giving it up to Ray.
That's already damn happening.
No.
How many of y'all women that practice the damn abstinence when I approach you at Walmart?
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? That woman does not
From a man's
value you.
perspective, from a man's
You a toy to her. You do nice
Okay,
things for her. You feel me?
All right, so that's
like
a great
having a
place
twin.
to end it. Oh, we got a great part two. So,
Oh, hell, y'all. Can we continue the goddamn thing? I want to talk about this shit.
yes, we need, because that's the breakdown right there.
This is
So, conversation got heated and intense today, but we thank y'all. That was great. All the opinions, experiences, awesome.
Thank you guys for coming on the show. We enjoyed this.
And we thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later.
Hey, sway. Yeah, I was downtown gliding, hit the sport, and now I'm really sliding.